Hola, ¿qué tal, peloteros? Nos encontramos una vez más en esta serie de podcasts que hacemos para ustedes y ahora con esta estrella del béisbol mexicano, Nick Torres, and thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Actually, we would like to start with a question because we know that you have a nickname in Laguna, El Novio de Laguna. Where do you come from?
El novio de Laguna.
Yeah.
No sé. They say Ken Lagunero, but I don't know. It's just it was a competition or something they had with the Barbie movie. They were naming the Kens of the team, but yeah, it was just a silly thing for fans to vote on. But I don't know. Just the face, I guess.
Oh, it's because you're handsome. I thought it was because you were like, very close to the city and helping people and the stuff. Just kidding, but that's cool, man. I didn't realize until now.
Yeah.
But that's a cool nickname,
Yeah.
And well, you have been playing baseball in Mexico for 5 years already?
This is my 5th year. Yep.
But before that, you grew up in California in a bicultural, let's say, bicultural place.
Yeah.
How is it growing up as a part American, part Mexican in California and also playing baseball?
I loved it. I had a lot of pride in that growing up. I felt like in the area that I was at in Los Angeles, there's all kinds of different people. I mean, there's just so many people there. The high school that I went to had 4,500 kids in it, and there's just so many people in that area. So it was cool. It gave me something that I felt like made me stand out. I have a good mix of an understanding of my Mexican culture, heritage, and also of being American and just embracing both of those. But getting to play here in Mexico has opened my eyes to the actual culture of Mexico and getting to live it, and even my dad was raised by two people that grew up and integrated from Mexico, spoke only Spanish in the house. And then for me to come now, the next generation, his son to come here and live in Mexico and play and make a career here is really cool for him and for me.
You learned Spanish from your father?
I did not, no. My mom doesn't speak any Spanish, and it was just too hard having one parent. I've heard that if the mom speaks Spanish, the kids will speak Spanish. But if the dad speaks Spanish, the kids will not speak Spanish. So,
that's something.
That's a thing.
That's something new. I just learned. But
yeah.
But let's say it's kind of cool because I have heard you and your Spanish sounds very natural when I do. So
gracias.
You learn it in at school? Or?
Aquí in Mexico.
Oh, before that you were zero Spanish?
A little bit. Like my dad spoke it around the house a little bit with my brother and I, but nothing that I really remember. And in high school I took classes, but I don't remember anything. All of my Spanish comes from living here in Mexico.
Well, this podcast is made for baseball fans, so there is another question about being bicultural. It's very different to grow up as a, let's say, white American and Mexican American in California?
Yes and no, it depends. For the most part, just because there's so many people of different kinds there, it's just normal, So like, I don't think there's a big difference between being Mexican and white baseball player in the area that I grew up in. Maybe in some other parts of the United States and the world, but where I grew up, it's very, it's like they say, it's called a melting pot. There's just every kind of person.
Well, before I start talking about your career, something about your background a little bit. Did you spend any time in Mexico before you became a professional baseball player here?
Never, not one day.
Not even vacation?
No. You know what? We went vacation when I was a kid to Cancun, and that was it.
Not even Tijuana?
Not Tijuana, no. Growing up, because it's so close, but everybody says that going to Tijuana was dangerous for Americans when I was growing up. That's not like a thing that most people want to do, is cross the border into Mexico.
But actually, when you go to Tijuana, you see all those Americans there partying, having beers and the stuff.
Yep, exactly. Now that I've lived here, I understand Mexico is no different than the United States. If you put yourself in sketchy situations, you're going to get bad outcomes. But if you just live your normal life and whatever, you're not going to have any problems.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And well, just starting about your career. How is that Nick Torres fell in love with baseball? Because you have a lot of, you know, stuff to do in the U.S. You can play ice hockey, football, soccer, whatever. How you find yourself into baseball? Found yourself?
Baseball is very big in the area that I grew up in. It's like the sport. All the youth, like the youth sports, all the kids, everybody wants to play baseball, and just you have the Dodgers, the Angels, a lot of really good professional players came out of my area. So that's just the thing. If people want to have recognition playing sports as an athlete, they want to play baseball in my area. So that was just part of it. I've always enjoyed the game, and I was more so I fell in love with the challenge of baseball. Like I wanted to, I wasn't that good when I first started playing, and I really wanted to just prove to everybody that I can play this game just as good as everybody else.
How old were you when you started?
I started playing when I was about 4 years old. But really seriously, you know, when I got to high school is when I was very serious about it.
I know that you are from a different generation, but did you ever play sandlot or backyard baseball?
All the time. I grew up playing that stuff. I mean, every day during the summer when we wouldn't have school, I would be at the park playing baseball with my buddies. Just in the neighborhood, we'd go, you know, ride our bikes, knock on doors, get like 5 to 10 guys and go to the park and play baseball.
So it's something still common there?
Oh yeah, if I was hanging out at home and I had a bunch of friends, I would still go and love to do that.
What's the difference between playing, you know, like organized baseball and sandlot and backyard baseball?
You have to have thick skin. You learn to get used to guys talking crap to you and, you know, getting to give it back, and you learn how to play without, this is kind of deep baseball stuff, but you learn to play without getting attached to the outcome, right? Like it's easy now playing here for me to go out and play and to be very attached to the outcome that I want to have. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if I, you know, I didn't have a good day today and I'm angry about the results, whereas when you're playing sandlot baseball, you're not thinking about that at all. You're just thinking about beating that guy on this pitch, right? So it's just a little more fun. You're just present. You're not thinking about anything. You're just playing.
Yeah, same. I think the same. We have something similar in Mexico, and I do the same because I don't have the talent to play professional baseball like you do. But, well, you're from LA, and before I start talking about yourself, another question. What do you think about Fernando Valenzuela? How important is his, you know, him in LA? Nowadays,
he was a big name for like my dad. My dad growing up was a huge Dodger fan and would always talk about him and some of the other Dodger players that would come through. But yeah, specifically Fernando Valenzuela was like an idol for young Mexican players, especially in that area, because he was so young, so talented when he first came up and playing for the hometown team of the Dodgers, which is a very Hispanic fan base. So yeah, for me, I don't really know him. He's a little past my generation, but my dad, he was a big time player for him.
You grew up as a Dodgers fan.
Yeah, Dodgers. I love the Yankees too growing up. Derek Jeter was my favorite player, so I always tried to play like Derek Jeter, and I always rooted on the Yankees.
Did you ever meet him?
Never met him.
And
no.
If you have him in front of you, what would you say to him?
I would just thank him for the way that he conducted himself, because it inspired me to play the way that I play nowadays. And I'm sure I would think about it, but I would have some questions for him just on how he approached certain things.
Oh, because his talent was huge, actually.
Yeah.
But do you think he could face a player from our time? Because right now, Major League, even Mexican League, you know, the talent that you have, guys, is very different than the years before. So
yeah,
you think he could face players right now?
Who knows? That's a big debate in baseball, right? Like I think that a lot of the players that had really good numbers from long time ago, I don't think they could perform today. The game has just changed so quickly, even in the last 10 years. Just the last 10 years, guys have gone from throwing 92 to 93, 94 to now everybody is 95 and above. So maybe he would adjust, maybe he would make his adjustments and get his hits, but it's definitely a completely different game than it was when he played 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Who knows?
What about yourself? You've been playing around for 5 years, and is it different right now than when you started?
Very different. This league specifically is so different. There's way more talent. Everybody, for example, if you're facing the worst team in the league, the first guy out of the bullpen is still 94 to 96, which is crazy for this league. It used to be that was not the case. It used to be that the first guy out of the pen was a Mexican veteran who threw 90 to 92 maybe and had a couple good extra pitches. Now you don't really see those guys. Everybody that's coming into the game is throwing really hard. And on the other side of the ball as well, the hitters, there's some really good hitters in this league that are giving pitchers quite a bit of a challenge.
It's because it's a change in only 1 year. So you also changed in 1 year? I mean, as a professional player?
That's why I say, kind of like when you asked about Derek Jeter, you just have to make your adjustments. Like, sure, last year there wasn't this much velocity in the league, but they're still having to make pitches. They're still having to throw it into a zone. They're still going to have a couple of, you know what I mean? The game doesn't change. The ability does increase, but good players are going to make adjustments and figure out a way to help their team regardless of what talent is on the field.
Instead of Derek Jeter, there is another baseball player that you are a fan?
Derek Jeter was always it. That was my number one.
Any Mexican player?
I never really followed any Mexican players growing up. Derek Jeter was my guy. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Sorry to disappoint.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And well, growing up as a Dodgers fan, you say that you take seriously playing in high school. How is it there? Because I know that sports in the U.S. are very serious when you're in high school, and you also play NCAA baseball. So how was the background during your high school years?
It was very competitive. Like my sophomore year was my first year on varsity, and we had tons of good players just in my high school that either got drafted in the first round or they went on to play at a 4-year college university. And not just my high school, all of our rival high schools that we played, every team had multiple players that were going to go play at big name schools in college, or they got drafted high in the first round or first 3 rounds.
What was the name of your school?
Lakewood High School.
Lakewood High School.
And when I graduated, we had the most baseball players of any high school in the country that made it to the big leagues. My high school did. So it was like they pumped out really good baseball players year after year.
Who you were partnered with there?
Partnered with?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, you have any major league partner growing up?
No, nothing like that. It's not like here where there's partnerships and there's academies. It's just completely, there's some teams that know this high school produces good baseball players and they'll keep an eye on it, but there's no formal partnerships.
All right. And with your colleagues, you have anybody who made into major league when you were playing there?
My teammates?
Yeah, teammates.
Yeah, JP Crawford was our shortstop for my high school team. He's now the shortstop for the Mariners. We had nobody else that's in the big leagues right now, but we had 2 other guys that went first round as well for that team. They got up to the minor leagues, never made it to the big leagues.
Did you realize him as a major league player when you were playing with him there?
I didn't, but I had no idea. I was 17 years old. I had no idea what a major league baseball player even looked like. You know, I had no concept for what it took every day to be a major league baseball player, what they looked like, all that. I had no idea.
But you had the dream, right?
Of course. Yeah, of course I had the dream. That was my dream, was to play in the big leagues.
Playing as a kid from California, growing up there, how is the dream of becoming a major league player?
Man, that was all I ever wanted for a long time. And everything that I did for the first however many years of my life was geared towards trying to become a major league baseball player. Obviously, my goals have changed now. That's not like a goal of mine to make it to the big leagues, but simply aiming for that goal has made me into the best baseball player that I can be.
And you have Mexican races. Still, you are as Mexican as I am. But
right.
Why do you think Mexican Americans have a better talent than we do right here? I mean, You made it a lot. You make it a lot in major leagues and even represent us at the World Baseball Classic. What do you think we need in Mexico to reach that level?
I personally, and to be honest, I feel like it's not just baseball. It's just a difference in expectations in the United States, and it's outside of baseball too. Just expectations are very high in the United States. Even if you're just a server, like working at the hotel serving food, expectations are higher, right? So everybody's having to do more, and when you have to do more and you have to compete with everybody up here, everybody gets better, right? And so I think that the ability in the United States, there's just so many good players, and a lot of that is they have access to knowledge and better coaching, right? So now if you have 10 players, 7 of them are really good and not just 3 of them, right? And when there's more talent, everybody's going to be better. I think that's the biggest thing, is that you just see more consistently really good competition, so that when guys come to Mexico, they've already seen somebody throwing 95 consistently, and it's like, okay, let's go. No problem. Right. Not that means it's easy to hit. Mexican baseball is very different than the States. It is difficult. It's completely 2 different styles of baseball. So you still have to obviously hit the ball, but it just helps when you've played up to a level and you're used to facing a certain level of competition every day.
You say it's different, and which are the differences that you found between both baseballs? What kind of baseball?
Mexican baseball is a little more like grindy. It's small ball. It's kind of, oh man, there's just, in Mexico, there's no, we'll say it like this, like guys never give in. So for example, if I'm hitting and the game is on the line, there's a runner on second base, and if I get a hit, the other team loses, and ball, it's 3-0. In the United States, here comes a fastball, right? Because that's how the game works. In Mexico, 3-0, here comes a slider.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just like, hey, screw you, dude. You're not going to get a hit off me. I'm not going to give the game up. And so I'd rather walk you and put you on first base than to give you an opportunity to win the game.
Oh.
That's how Mexican baseball is, right? And so you have to really earn your hits. You have to really earn everything, every win. They're just like, in this United States, you'll never see somebody drop a bunt down in a 2-1 count, ever. You'll never see somebody drop a bunt down with bases loaded, ever. But that stuff happens all the time in Mexico. So guys in Mexico, they know their game and they play it well. Maybe they don't have a lot of power, but if this is their game, is putting the ball on the ground and bunting and stuff, they're gonna do it whenever. In Mexico, if a guy has a really good slider, it doesn't matter what the situation is, he's throwing that slider until he gets out of the inning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. You still think that we use more junk balls than you do?
Yeah, yes, absolutely still. Even though the velocity has gone up in the league, absolutely still. I think it's a product of the catchers and how they call games. Because like I said, if you have somebody at the plate that is the best hitter on the other team or is a very good hitter, pitchers will not give them an opportunity to do damage, right? Yeah. It's just more careful baseball. In Mexico, they really make you earn it. Whereas in the States, if I take 2 sliders in the dirt and it's 2-0, here comes a fastball. It is not like that here in the States or here in Mexico.
A friend of mine says that there is more control with breaking balls.
Yes, yeah. We think about it. Now, obviously, the league has gotten a lot better with velocity and talent, but talent doesn't equal wins, right? So in Mexico, guys might, in years past, say a dude only throws 90 miles an hour, which is not super hard. But if he can put it wherever he wants on the zone, he's going to be more effective than somebody that throws 94 but just throws middle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. And well, you stay in high school for 3 years, then you join college or university?
Same thing. Same thing.
College baseball.
Yeah.
NCAA for 2 years?
3.
3.
Yep, 3 years.
You were freshman, sophomore, what you say?
Yep, sophomore and junior.
And junior.
Yeah.
There.
Good, nice. Yeah.
I forgot that.
No, that was good.
And How is playing like university baseball in the U.S. because it's a big career? You know, we have here something not like that.
Really?
It's almost professional.
Yeah. College baseball is the most fun baseball that you could ever play. This is, except for maybe this. I've had a ton of fun playing in Mexico, the most I've had in my professional career. But in my whole life, college is the most fun. It's like you and your brothers. It's the first time everybody's living away from home, away from their parents, right? So you all feel kind of like adults and you're all on one team aiming for one goal. So, and there's a lot of testosterone because everybody's young and you know what I mean, and all that stuff. So it's just exciting. Everybody's got passion and fire. Yeah, college is awesome, man. College is where you really learn how to win. College is where you learn how to, okay, I have the goal. If I want to play in a College World Series, I need to get all of these guys and we need to get on the same page and I need to do whatever I can to help this team win. There's no selfishness. Guys are not playing for themselves like in the professional baseball. Some guys play for their stats. College, it is strictly about the team. So it's a fun style of baseball because when you're not playing worried about yourself, you can just play free and have fun.
Well, which is your best and the worst memories that you have playing college baseball?
In college, my worst memory was probably getting eliminated my sophomore year. We were in the playoffs and I got eliminated. I missed a ball and some runs scored. We ended up losing the game. And then my best memory, I don't know if I have a single best memory from college, but just winning my junior year, you know, every year as they get ready for the College World Series, there's playoff host sites, right? All the best teams in the country and my team got to host one of those my junior year. So it was like a big thing. We had all the 4 teams travel in and we got to be like the big dogs for the weekend and stuff. It was cool.
And how was the relationship with other sports guys like football, basketball? We know that it's huge in the U.S. basketball and college in college. Football are huge. So how was the relationship with them?
We didn't really get along with them. The school that I went to did not have like a big college football program, so it was kind of up for grabs for whatever sport was doing really well. Got to be, you know, top dog. That was us. In my time there, it was, you know, we didn't really hang out with football guys. They all hung out together. We hung out together. You know, soccer hung out together. That's a funny question though. Yeah, we didn't really get along. Not a lot of mixing with the groups. Yeah, it was like a competition over who was the best team on campus, you know.
Yeah, that's cool to know, you know, because that's a different way of life actually.
Yeah, for sure.
And what were you studying? I forgot to ask.
I was studying business management. I actually just a couple months ago finished my degree after 10 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you decided to leave your career as a college student to join a professional baseball program?
Yeah. So after, you know, the way the draft works is you either have to be a certain age or after your junior year, you can go into the draft. And so after my junior year, I was eligible to be drafted. The Padres drafted me in the 3rd round and I was like, well, I have this opportunity, I'm gonna take it. And so I decided to go play.
Oh, that's cool. And how was your experience the first year, you know, in playing rookie league, I think, right?
Yeah, I played in short season. It was how would I describe that experience? It was a learning experience for sure. Everything is new, right? You have no idea what the logistics of everything are gonna look like, what the talent is gonna look like. And it's just an adjustment because you've been in your own bubble now for 3 years at college. And now you're off on your own again in a new system with people that you don't know, and it's kind of sink or swim. Like, here, go hit, survive. You know, if you hit, you get to keep moving up, and if you don't, we'll see you later. So, yeah, there's some pressure that comes with it, some self-expectations, but it was good. It was a good experience. Just good to get your feet wet for the first year.
So many people don't complain, but they tell about their life in minor league playing, that is very tough and hard. You think it's harder playing minor league baseball than college baseball?
Yes, way harder. In college, you have everything taken care of for you, especially depending on what school you go to. If you go to a big name school, then you have everything taken care of for you. And I mean everything, you know, like schooling, all that stuff is, you just get so much help. Whereas in pro ball, you're on your own and you have some resources that can help you, but for the most part, you got to figure it out. You know, it's your career.
Yeah. It's like a hard decision then to, if you want to join professional baseball, you know that you are going to be part of that hard process to get into major league.
Right.
And how much time it passed until you join a Mexican baseball roster?
So I was in the minor leagues from 2014 until 2018. End of 2018 is my last year in the United States. So I had like 4.5 years in the United States, and then now this is my 5th year. 2019 was my first year in Mexico.
And how you find yourself to play in Mexico? I mean, who called you? Or?
I had finished the year in 2018 with the Rangers and hadn't received any calls from other teams. And I started getting calls from Tijuana and Monclova, wanting me to come play as a pocho. And that was it. It was through my agent, and I decided to sign with Tijuana. Signed with them. They immediately loaned me out to Puebla. That whole situation, I could talk for a long time on that situation as well, but you know, teams will tell a player whatever they need to tell them in order to get them to sign. Right.
I just hear the word pocho. What do you think about that? Because in Mexico, some people just say that, but is that?
It's like a bad word.
Not a bad word, but some Mexican Americans find that offensive.
Offensive? Yeah, it's not offensive. I mean, if you get offended by it, but there's no need to get offended by it. It's just...
You know, the title of this video is going to be Two Winners in the Podcast.
Yeah? I love that, bro. I love that.
When I get wrong and I see Americans, I always tell them, hey, call me winner.
That's
they say,
funny.
no, and I tell them, when I'm not here, for sure I know that you call me winner.
That's funny, bro. That's funny. See, like the household that I grew up in, my dad is he's raised by like very Mexican people, right? And like grew up going out back in his backyard and cutting cactus off the cactus to have cactus, and like making, you know, squeezing one orange into a thing and adding sugar and water, and you know, like he's done all that stuff, eating beans with his food every night. And so we joke about stuff like that too, because he's like, hey, you guys are like the next generation American guys. I grew up like this, you know. You also eat beans, right? Of course. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Every day, almost every day. But well, by the way, you're getting back to your career. You joined Mexico, and what was the first impression that you have playing here? First impression, it was so long ago now, it's hard to think back. But first impression as far as the baseball was good. Baseball stuff, I was like, okay, this is a good league. There's a lot of talent here. Even at that time, there was some big names that played in the league. Like at the time, it was like Eric Ibar played here and a couple of other guys. You're like, wow, okay, there's some good talent. The stuff outside of the field is usually the hard part. That's the part that I was like, oh man, this league has a long way to go. And even now, there's just some things regarding like coordinating travel, food, it's the logistical things, you know what I mean? Things that make the whole machine go. Those are the things that sometimes I'm just like, man, we have to get better. This is not professional. And it's not just one team, it's the league as a whole. You know what I mean? And again, that goes back to what I said earlier. It's just about expectations, right? Like understanding, hey, if you want more and more big name guys from the United States to come over, or not just the United States, well, yeah, from the United States, but from all over the world to come here and play, you have to have high expectations for how you treat them outside of the ball field. That's the stuff that makes a player go, I want to come back, and I want to come back, and I want to come back, right? The baseball stuff will take care of itself, but it's all the other things that will help you to get good talent here. So yeah, that's a good recommendation that you tell, but that you give, because sometimes we know that we run very different than the US, and just thinking about logistics and something is
and all the stuff is something that fans don't really see. You know,
Correct.
how hard it is. Just you know, playing in Tabasco now. For you, it could be easier than the guys that come tomorrow because Tijuana is playing here, and you know the weather is different.
Yeah.
So at least you can expect like good food and good transportation.
Right.
And stuff,
Exactly.
And before you came to Mexico, I bet you didn't know anything about Mexican teams and stuff.
Nothing. I knew nothing. I was so blind coming here. And, you know, that's kind of what I mentioned. You know, when you sign with a team to come to Mexico, you have no idea what to expect. So now, at this point in my career, whenever guys reach out to me about, hey, questions, what do you think about this and stuff, I'm always trying to help them as much as possible because I wish I had somebody to have helped me when I signed here.
So you do with English speaker players?
Yes, yeah, usually. And give them an idea of what, hey man, this is what you should be expecting. These are the teams to sign with. These are the teams not to sign with. These are good cities. These are not good cities. You know, stuff like that.
I felt very comfortable last year in Laguna.
Mm-hmm.
I went to see you guys in the finals championship. Mm-hmm. I thought you would become champions, you know, of the tournament. What do you think that happened to the team? Because you won the first 2 games in a row, and then.
It's just baseball, man. We thought that we had it too, but we went to Puebla and they played very well at home. It's always difficult to go on the road, and we were unbeatable practically at home last year. So we just knew that if we could just take it back to Laguna, we'd had a good chance to win the series. It didn't work out that way, but again, that's baseball. When the season is on the line, you want your best guys out there, and you want to live and die with your best guys, and that's what happened. We came up a little short, but obviously the goal this year is to get back there and to win it this time.
I break your leg. Good luck then.
Yeah.
Because I really think that Laguna deserves the championship. It's a long time since it doesn't come to the city, and also the team is very good. Everybody talks about Laguna. You know, the Diablos. The Diablos are very strong right now. Even Tabasco is strong right now. But everybody says about Laguna, hey, they deserve the championship. So good luck with that.
Thank you.
And we were talking also about Hermosillo. You didn't play there last year because your baby girl was born.
Correct.
What was the feeling of leaving a team besides?
It was sad at first. I'll say that it was sad at first because I really wanted to play with them. But I would not have traded anything for the world. You know, I'm so happy that I was home for the birth of my daughter. I'm so happy that I was able to be at home with my wife for a couple months before that, you know, because another thing is like, I could have gone and played, but I would have had to rush home for the birth and all that. It was nice to have a break, man. Like, that's the thing is everybody expects you to play year round. You got to play summer and winter. That's not normal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's become normal. Like, it feels normal to do that now, but it was really enjoyable to just have some time off, to get a break from playing baseball. I know that they're probably expecting me to come back this year. It remains to be seen. I'm just focused on this season right now, you know, and you got to have a balance in life. Like, I love coming here to play, but I also have to have time to be home with my family, to recharge my batteries so that I can be ready to perform whenever I need to perform again.
Actually, they ran away with the championship.
Yeah, exactly. So it was good for them that they still went out and accomplished their goal. I wish I could have been a part of that team and been a part of the championship and stuff, because that was my goal with them years prior. But it's all right. That's how life works. It's okay.
Yeah. Of course, family comes first.
For sure.
But I see you. I wish I can see you again with Hermosillo, because it's always good to see you playing. You know,
I love
good performance and good play and stuff. A friend of mine told me that you say that you would love to play with Team Mexico at the World Baseball Classic.
Where did you hear that? Actually, that's funny.
A friend of mine just told me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I don't know why it hasn't happened already, but I would love to be able to represent Mexico. I think that would be just the coolest experience. And I feel like I've done enough at this point in Mexico to show that I'm somebody that can absolutely go and represent this country and, perform well. I've performed in high pressure situations plenty of times in this league. But I know that it's not about that always. Like fans want to see certain players and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like I would be able to help the team win on an international scale. But yeah, that would be awesome.
Premier 12 is coming, actually.
I know.
I hope you make it. And
thank you.
How is the feeling, you know, as a Mexican American playing against the U.S., for example? Like,
that would be sweet. And I'll tell you what, the amount of pride that I would have getting to represent Mexico against the U.S. would be awesome. Because a lot of those, I don't hold any grudges. I don't feel bad about anything that happened in the United States, but it's cool when you're trying to make it to the big leagues, for example, whatever, and you don't make it, and then you get another opportunity with another country, and then to be able to face that country, it would be awesome to get to like prove to them, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And well, we just are the latest part with the last few questions of the video. So instead of a baseball player, what would you like to be?
I don't know yet. I'm still figuring that out. I've worked some sales jobs and stuff when I've gone home. I've done some coaching. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I love to do outside of baseball. I love being with my family. So I want to do something that's going to allow me to spend time with my family. This is the first season that my wife and my baby have come with me to live with me, and it's been such a huge help just having them every day. So I don't know, we'll see.
That's cool. And well, tell us something about Nick Torres that we don't know.
Something about Nick Torres that you don't know. I don't know, man. I'm a pretty open book, but for the most part, this is the majority of my life.
Any TV show or any other sport that you like or something?
No,
Favorite
not
food?
really. I'll tell you what, man. I miss the food in the United States.
Really?
Yeah.
Hamburgers?
Yes, I do. That's the hardest thing for me is adjusting to the food when I come here to Mexico. But I don't know, man. Nothing really crazy. I'm sure if you ask a specific question, I could come up with something. But yeah, I don't know. I'm an ordained minister. I've done I've been the person that married people before. I get up and do public speaking and stuff sometimes, but that's about the extent of it.
Well, last question. Last question before the last question.
Yeah.
Actually, favorite food?
Favorite food. I'm gonna say Italian food. Any Italian food, like pasta, anything with fettuccine, all that stuff. I love it. Well,
and this is not a question, but something you would like to say to baseball fans in Mexico?
Man, I'm very thankful for the opportunity to have come here and to had basically a whole second chance at a career. You know, I've loved playing in Mexico. I would have never thought that it would turn into the career that I've had. So it's been very cool. It's cool to go to a new city and even to be in Laguna and stuff and to get stopped by people all over the city, for people to know who you are and, you know, to appreciate what you do on the field is cool. But yeah, I'm appreciative for all the support. I can't even believe it sometimes that I've been able to do what I've done in Laguna. You know, the fact that I don't look too much into all that stuff. It's not super important to me to be, you know, known by everybody or anything. A lot of that is just extra. I want the type of person, kind of like Derek Jeter, right? I just want to show up and play baseball, right? I don't care about a lot of that other stuff. I want to show up. I want to do my job. I want to win. I want to perform well. That being said, I can't even believe sometimes that I've been able to have as much recognition as I have in Laguna and stuff. It's a crazy blessing. So I'm very thankful for it.
An all-star you're an all-star in Mexico.
Yeah.
So that's why we love the opportunity to having you here, and we really thank you a lot for your time and
thank you.
This experience with Nick Torres. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I appreciate it.
Muy bien, peloteros, ese fue el video del día de hoy. Esperemos les haya gustado. Si les gustó, no olviden comentar, compartir y suscribirse a nuestro canal. Hasta la próxima.
Pelotero por el mundo, pero de Obregón, oriundo de la pasión a la fama. A solo un segundo. De Puerto Rico, Nueva York, de Venezuela